Right, okay, so it says we're live, which is good, and we've still got 0 viewers, which is fine because we know it takes a little while for the system to kick in. So what we're going to do is just chat very generally for a minute or two, and hopefully we'll start to see that viewer count go up a bit, and then we'll start for real. So, what's it like where you guys are today? Sunny?
Yeah, actually, it's quite nice outside. I'm staring out the window right now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
nice
sunny.
and bright here.
You're in London, are you, Amanda? You
Yes,
still in
I
London?
am.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, we were all in London yesterday. We had a great day at the BBC, didn't we?
Mhm.
Oh, it was so much fun.
One of the coolest field trips ever, for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, okay, so I can see the counts going up now, so we should start properly. So welcome everybody to the second of our live chats about studying postgraduate courses in the Business School at the University of Southampton. I'm Lisa and I'm the Programme Leader for Digital Marketing, and I'm joined today by two students who are just coming to the end of their course. We've got Amanda and Ashley, and they're going to introduce themselves to you in just a minute. And really the objective of today is just really to take any questions you might have if you're still thinking about the pros and cons of coming here to study, or you've got any particular issues that you'd like to talk about with these guys, because they've been there and done it. And a year ago they were in exactly the same position as you are now, and I'm sure there's lots of things that they wished they'd known at the time that they didn't. So this is really an opportunity to ask questions, and if you've got any concerns, we'll do our best to deal with them. We did have a question before we went live, which has since disappeared, which is slightly odd. But anyway, the question was, can we ask about specific courses? And the answer to that is yes, of course you can. If we don't know the answer, which may be the case because there are 23 different courses, if we don't know the answer between us, we'll take your details and we'll find out and get back to you afterwards. So please feel free if you do have a more specific question, and we'll do our best to find out the answer for you. Right, so perhaps I should ask Amanda and Ashley to introduce themselves briefly before we start taking questions. Do you want to go first, Amanda?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Heron. I was a student in the Digital Marketing MSc program at the University of Southampton, and I'm currently working on my dissertation. So we've just finished up the year, and we'll be turning that in a few months.
Thank you. Fantastic. And Ashley?
Hi, yes, I'm Ashley. I'm in the same program as Amanda doing the MSc Digital Marketing. I'm originally from Florida, and like Amanda said, we're working on our dissertations now. The year has gone by scarily fast. It's insane that we're almost finished. I can't believe it. But thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope we can answer your questions.
Great. Okay. So just in case you're not sure, anyone, about how this Hangout system works, if you just hover your mouse to the left-hand side of the screen, you should see a column of buttons appear. And the middle one of those buttons has got Q&A written on it. If you click that button, it'll open up a big white box on the right-hand side of the screen where you can ask us questions. We'll see that, and then we can take your questions and respond to them verbally as we're doing now. So if you've got a question, please feel free to pop it in there. Or if you want to ask via Twitter, we're using the Choose SBS hashtag, as we mentioned in the email that went out to you. So feel free, if you're a fan, to ask your question via Twitter. Just make sure you use that hashtag, so we'll pick it up. We'll check those every few minutes as well. Right, so, okay, while we're waiting for... Oh, gosh, we've got one already. I was just going to say while we're waiting for a question, and there is one. It says, what's the one piece of advice you'd offer to people when they're deciding on their course? What's the one piece of advice you'd offer to people when they're deciding on their course? Okay, that's a good one to get us started. So do you guys want to take it in turns on that one?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll go first. I would recommend that if you're trying to decide on which course to look at for the university, I would talk to someone who's actually been in the course, if that's possible. So maybe reach out to one of the supervisors or one of the teachers of the course and see if you can have a Skype session with someone. I was able to do that before applying for the digital marketing course, and it was really helpful to really get a realistic expectation of what I was going into.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that's good advice as well, as that's the best way to kind of find out how it is for students is to talk to past students. If you're not able to do that for any reason, in my experience, I know when I was looking through courses, I was actually researching the program leaders and the professors a little bit before I got like further into it. And so for this course in particular, I actually went ahead and found Lisa's Twitter, and it was kind of one of the reasons I ended up choosing the course, because I was seeing how she was interacting with her Twitter account with her current students and even just promoting other course information. I thought that was just like cool how interactive she was. So you can go ahead and try and find if they have a Twitter or something like that. If they don't, I'm sure you can find research papers that they've done, because I know in the last live stream, Amanda was saying that she had found one of Lisa's papers, and that's one of the reasons she got interested in the course as well. So if you find some of their research, it may kind of sway your decision on what kind of interest they have personally. But I would definitely agree with Amanda that the absolute best way to see how it's going to be for you is to try and find students who have previously been in the course as well.
Which is exactly what we're doing now. So fantastic. That's a really, really good question. Thanks, guys. We've got another one. It says, I see you're writing a dissertation. Was the rest of the assessment all exams, coursework, or both?
Ashley?
Sure. So for our course, a lot of the assessment portion, I think it was very specific to our course because we're doing digital marketing, but a lot of the assessment was group projects, so working with fellow students, and also presentations. And that was the majority of what we were graded on for the course. We did have one exam, but it's hard to say what your course specifically will be like because it does differ course to course.
Yeah, and sorry, Amanda, I cut you off there. Carry on.
Oh no, yeah, she's right. We did have a few exams. I believe, actually, I think we only might have had one or two. But yes, so mostly group projects, which is great because you get to work in a group of people that maybe from different cultural backgrounds and different experience levels and things like that, which is fantastic. But also we had some individual projects, which is challenging, but there's a lot of, everyone tries to give their own feedback and helps each other with understanding what you might not know already and what they might be well versed in. So I would say it's well-rounded in the way that it's graded, and everyone's kind of in it together.
Okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, I think in general terms there is a mixture of coursework and exams, probably more coursework than exams in most programs. But to be absolutely sure for your particular program of interest, I recommend you have a look at the website, which gives full details of exactly which modules you'll be studying and how they're assessed. So do have a look at that and make sure you don't get any nasty surprises when it's too late if you discover it's something completely different to what you expected. So yeah, you should find there's nothing secret about it. All the assessment and content information is on the School of Business website. Okay, right. So let's see if we've got any more questions. We've done that one. So thanks, Sarah, for that question, and Tom for the first one. Don't see any more at the moment. And don't forget, if you want to ask a question, just hover your mouse to the left of the screen and click on the little Q&A button that comes up. Oh, gosh, I've got two questions just appeared. Sarah again, what was the hashtag? Right, the hashtag is ChooseSBS. I'm saying that's choose, not chose, so double O. Okay, we've done that one. And there's a new question from Gloria. What was the most challenging aspect of your course so far? Do you want to take it in turns on that one, guys?
Yeah, sure. I think for me, I think I would say that it was very challenging learning to work in various groups, but it was a great challenge because you're going to have that all your life. and in industry. So it's a great way to prepare you for industry, but it certainly is a challenge to understand how each individual works and what's the best way to work with them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. I think that was probably one of the most valuable aspects of our course, at least, was the amount of group work that we did, because it is challenging to kind of find that balance between wanting to do everything yourself and kind of like spreading out the work evenly and just working with different personalities. So that was great. Also, for me, so we're currently doing the dissertation as we spoke about, and that's been a big adjustment for me because I've never done, in my undergraduate at least, we weren't responsible for doing a dissertation. And so it's been a really, really, really big, I guess, challenge for me because I just had previously never done anything like it. But we were given the opportunity, at least for our course, to do a dissertation prep kind of course, and that helped a lot because they took us step by step through the process. And also, we're assigned tutors, and my tutor has been phenomenal. Any questions that I've had so far, being able to answer them, even though they may seem silly to me, it's just something new. So I've really appreciated the fact that they've been there to kind of help us along the way.
Okay, great. Thank you. So perhaps I could ask you, while we're seeing if there's any more questions coming through, perhaps I could ask you to, what do you think you've enjoyed most? What's been the most fun bit of your course?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ooh. Okay.
So I guess it was probably, looking back on it now, at the time it was kind of nerve-wracking, but looking back on it now, I kind of think it was the most fun was the actual presentations that we did, because like you get nervous, obviously it's not natural to go up in front of a big group of people and speak, and so it was kind of nerve-wracking at the time, but looking back on it now, like the preparation and then seeing the rest of our course mates actually present as well was really, really fun, because you kind of get to know everyone on a personal level, and then you get to see their like professional work as well. So it's like you're all there kind of supporting yourself, and like if someone kind of like slips up or like makes a mistake during presentation, like they laugh with you about it. So that was a good experience.
That's quite funny that you say that, because that was kind of my train of thought. However, I think I would say the best part for me, while presenting was incredibly fun, it was actually seeing those projects that you work on for so long come to fruition, and feeling like, because typically in our course we would be working on a project as if it was for real life working for a company most of the time. So it was really interesting to get the chance to work as if you're working for the company, and then see it actually come to life when everyone gets to present it, and really visualize what that would actually mean for our company. So that was really great.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was that everyone, at least for our course mates, like I'm sure you'll agree, Amanda, our course mates took everything like extremely seriously. Like everyone worked their butts off during the year, and it was cool that they did that, and that like everyone took this course as seriously as we were, because it produced the best work possible, and it was really, really impressive to see what everyone's ideas were throughout the year.
Yeah,
great.
I'd agree with that.
Thank you. Right, I've just found a question on Twitter which asks you, what's the most difficult thing about moving to a new country? Silence.
Well, for me it was navigation, which I spoke about this last time. Oh, sorry, I just cut someone off. I spoke about this last time a bit. For me, it was navigation, learning.
Oh, we've lost Amanda briefly there.
We'll see if she comes back. For me, at least, I guess the most difficult thing about coming to a new country.
And I think, speaking from what I've talked to other students about, some people had difficulty adjusting to the food. But what's great about the university is the food for different cultures, which is one, it's fun to try, but it's great that they do that so that you can find recognized from home, or at least kind of suits your tastes if you're looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree that the university does a really good job of kind of incorporating different cultures, and especially even in the surrounding areas of campus, there's loads of different types of restaurants that you can go to if you would like to. I'm probably going to repeat myself again from the previous stream if you guys have already watched it, but for me, it was definitely being away from my family. And I think my solution to that was number one, obviously, there's apps that you can use, WhatsApp and Skype, and to keep in touch with your loved ones who are overseas. Or I think it really helped just getting involved with campus stuff. Like I had said in the previous stream as well, is just kind of throwing yourself into clubs and your coursework and meeting new people makes Southampton feel a lot smaller and more like home.
Brilliant. Okay. We did kind of lose the sound a little bit with you, Amanda, and the picture disappeared, but it's come back now. So I think, fingers crossed, you'll be okay. But we certainly got the gist of it about the food and the different cultures, and it sounds like a gastronomic delight of Southampton. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
actually, do you mind if I add one more thing onto the cultural part of it? So on top of the food that's on campus, I think we briefly touched on the different variety of clubs that the university offers as well. So along with like interest-based clubs, there's loads of cultural-based clubs, and likely you're able to find anything that you're looking for. So if you are missing home, then you can definitely probably meet people from your home country or people who are interested in your home country if you go ahead and find one of the university clubs based on that culture.
Great. Okay. Perhaps that's a good opportunity then for me to just point out something that you might find useful, which is the virtual tour of the campus. Now, on the email that we sent out, which invited you to this chat, I'm just going to share my screen a minute, and hopefully it will show you. There's a virtual tour. It's a link right at the bottom of the email. Screen share, please work. Good. Right, just give me a second to move between the windows. Right, here it is. So yeah, if you click on that link in the email, it takes you to this short video, which is just 1 minute long, which basically just explains how you can navigate around the virtual tour of the university. So it takes you into buildings and it shows you how the campus looks and how to get from one part to another. So you might find that useful. Also, down the left-hand column, you see here, there are links to all sorts of information about living in Southampton, about accommodation, about visas and funding and all of that kind of thing. So I think you'll find in one place quite a lot of useful information there if you haven't seen this already, as well as get a chance to explore the virtual tour, which is quite fun. Okay, so have we got any more questions? I'm just coming back, stop sharing the screen. I don't see anything on the Q&A. If you're watching and you have got a question, don't forget, just hover to the left of the screen, click the Q&A button, and a big white box should appear where you can type in your question and we will see it at this end. There's none there at the moment. Have we got anything on Twitter? Has anyone looked recently? Oh,
No.
Right, sorry, I've just found 2 questions have just popped up on here. So if you check Twitter a second, Ashley, I'll just have a look at what we've got here. Why did you choose Southampton in particular, is a question. So what was it in particular about Southampton that attracted you?
I kind of mentioned this before, that I spoke with a previous student. I was doing a lot of comparing of universities and of programs, mostly universities in London and programs in London, at those universities obviously, but doing that against Southampton. And I spoke with a previous student from Southampton, and he told me about the program for digital marketing. And the more I understood what it was actually going to be like, the more I realized that that's exactly what I needed to be going into, instead of looking at such broad programs. Southampton's very close to London, so really you're fine to travel there if that's something you want to do on the weekends. It was quite easy to do, and you get a great experience and a great program, in my opinion, and the professors are fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Was there anything on Twitter, Ashley, when you?
No, nothing new.
Okay. Do you want to just comment on that last question, which was about what was it in particular about Southampton that attracted you?
Yes, so I'm again repeating myself from what I had said in the previous stream, but when I was looking at different programs, I had already actually decided on a different university initially, and it was just a basic international marketing program. And the more I was researching, I found that Southampton was one of the top universities in the country. And as I was looking at their marketing programs, I found the digital marketing one. And like Amanda had said, the fact that it is so specific, it really made that difference when I was choosing between the two, because it was definitely where my interests were and where I felt that the field in general was going. So it just made sense to me. It was kind of an easy decision after finding the program that that's the one that I wanted to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have another question here from Tom, and he says, does Southampton have a lot of interdisciplinary study? So I don't know if you, I mean, I can answer that one, but I don't know if you two have got any particular views on that. Anything that you've come across perhaps outside of your particular course that added value to it?
I would say that in our program, it wasn't just digital marketing. It definitely touched on a range of areas, and all areas that were relevant, but not necessarily what I had expected I would be learning, which was great because it gives you a more well-rounded view of industry you're going into and the people you might end up working with. So, for example, we did some coding and website creation, which I know going into digital marketing, even though I won't be programming or building websites, it's important to have that knowledge. So I would say in our course at least, and the courses that we worked with, we definitely had some overlap with other MSc programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went as well, was our coding class when you mentioned that. But on top of that, I agree that I think they do a good job of making the programs very well-rounded for what you're going to need in your actual career. So on top of the coding, we had essentially it was a psychology class. It was consumer behavior, but it was a lot about the psychology behind marketing. And so they don't just give you the basics, like you don't just take, for us at least, they didn't just give us a class on like how to do Google AdWords and things like very technical things like that. It was extremely well-rounded in giving us like the fundamentals and then encouraging us to think about kind of like the current tools, but then also the future of it as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that's particularly important, isn't it, in a subject, particularly in a subject that's changing so rapidly, and which subject isn't these days, is an appreciation of where it's going and how it's changed and what the future might hold. So I think that's something that all courses should really take on board. Anyway, right, seem to have run out of questions on here now. Perhaps we're almost at the end, but if anyone's got any final questions, please put them in. And in the meantime, perhaps I could ask you to tell us a little bit about your trip to the BBC.
Yeah, sure. So yesterday, both Amanda and I are part of a club called the DigiChamps that Lisa runs. And so we were invited by Bill Thompson, who is a journalist at the BBC and has his own radio show. He had come to the university to do a speech, to give a talk. And we met him then because Amanda and I both covered the event while it was happening. And then he invited us to come to the BBC in London, and he gave us a tour of it yesterday. And it was one of the coolest things I think that we've done this year. Just to see, he took us like around the newsroom and into a radio studio, and it was just really cool to see the behind the scenes of things that you might like hear on the radio or watch on television. It was cool to see like the inner workings of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And a Dalek as well.
Yep.
Gosh, that was so much fun. I think we have. Well, yes. So it was incredibly fun, but it was also very rewarding because this is something that we'd worked with him, the months prior to, and being able to be invited to something like that just shows how closely the university is with the people who come to give talks, and how respected it is, as well as the students. So I don't think, if I hadn't gone to this program and worked on that, there's no way I would have ever had an opportunity like that. And the program and the university itself gives a lot of opportunities to meet people that you otherwise might not get to, and get to hear really interesting talks, and opportunities like that you just wouldn't want to pass up.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Right, I'm seeing some more comments. Someone saying, very jealous of the BBC trip. Sounds amazing. Okay, thank you for that one. And a final question, what do you hope to do next?
That is the question, isn't it? That's the big question. Well, currently I'm finishing my dissertation, but I'm looking for jobs at the moment, and there's a lot of opportunities open to me now that I feel confident I can fill the roles in with what I've learned. So hopefully I'll be working in London in the next month or two.
Brilliant. Thank you.
I think we have very similar plans. So I'm still in Southampton right now as I'm finishing my dissertation, but I do hope to be moving to London in the next couple months as well. And I think that was a good point that you made, Amanda, about being prepared and being confident in applications now, because that was one of the biggest things for me coming here and doing this program, is that I had no previous industry experience. And so when it came to even looking at marketing related positions, I felt like I was kind of a fraud trying to apply to them, because I just didn't have the experience or the knowledge. So now that the course is winding down, I definitely feel much, much better prepared in these applications, that I do know a little bit about marketing and that I can actually fill those positions well.
Great. Okay, well, we're pretty much out of time, so thank you very much, both of you, for all your contributions. We seem to have had loads of questions today. Don't forget that this is recorded, so anyone, if you want to catch any of it again, then if you just click the same link that you clicked to start it, it will take you to YouTube in a few minutes once we've switched off. Then you'll be able to see the whole thing again on YouTube, and you can even post questions there if you wish to. So I'll wrap up then. Thank you to all of you. If you have got follow-up questions, by all means use YouTube or Twitter. You won't be able to ask any new ones within this window once we've gone off air, but I think you've got a few different options for contacting us. And as I say, those recordings, we did a similar session on Monday, and YouTube as well. And the questions, with some of the same questions, but some different ones as well that we had on Monday. So thank you very much. We'll say goodbye now. Do you two want to just say anything finally in signing off?
Yeah, well, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully, well, not that we'll see you in Southampton, but hopefully you will follow in our footsteps and come to Southampton. It was a great experience.
Yeah, it definitely is a great experience, and I think you'll find at the end that you don't regret it if you decide, because that's exactly what I found. So, not that everyone's like me, but you know, it's fantastic. It really is.
Right, well, thank you both very much. We're going to switch off now, and so we'll just give a final wave. Okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye.